So what we're going to do is we're going to recreate this bird. And there are quite a few steps to doing this. The first thing is to just create the outline. Now, when you create your outline, I don't want you to worry about being perfect today. Oops. I want you to do your best. You don't want to use a huge number of points on this. You want to try to do it in as few as possible. I can't see what I'm doing, so I'm just going to give myself a fill right now so I can see it. Okay. And again, it does not have to be perfect. You come in, draw your points, and maybe for this one I'll just kind of curve it in. Click on that and bring it in. Now what you want to do next is use the direct selection tool. The regular selection tool selects the whole bird. The direct selection tool allows you to select individual points. So if I create a box by clicking and dragging it around, let's say this point, I can use the arrow keys to move it where I think it should go. So I can make some adjustments here. And then I can also pull in these points if I need to. So let's say that this part just feels a little bit too, I don't know, the wrong spot. I can come in and I can make adjustments with the arrow keys until it's exactly how I want it to look. That's close enough. It doesn't have to be perfect. This could probably be a lot fatter. Let me just do that. Okay. And pull that sucker down. Okay, it doesn't matter. Sorry. Just getting nitpicky. Now that I've done this, you can make it whatever color you want, but for now I'll just make it gray. I'm going to take this and I'm going to lock it by going into my layers, which are right here. Now your layers might also be right here. There'll be a button that says layers. Or you might not have any layers, in which case you can always go to Window, Layers. It's alphabetical order, so there it is, right there. Now I'm going to uncollapse layer 1, and I'm going to click on the path I just created so I can no longer move it. Keep that in mind, we're going to want to come back to that in just a little bit. So now I'm going to use the pen tool, and I'm going to create these paths with no fill and with a really easy to see stroke. It doesn't matter, but just make it nice and thick. Notice how they go all the way off the edges. That's important that you do that. You don't want to just make it perfect. I'm going to do the same thing on this side. Start here. There's an overlap. That's okay. Shift Control A. Let's do the same thing over here. Now with this one, I can actually come in with a rectangle. Let me get rid of that. By clicking and dragging here, I can come in with a rectangle, and I can round it by just pulling these guys in. If I only want to round it on the left side and not the right side, I can use the direct selection tool to select these 2 points and then round them. Now that I have everything set up, I'm going to unlock my layer now. That's important. You have to do this. And then I'm going to select everything. Now you can't just click on it to select it. You actually have to use the regular selection tool and drag a box around the entire thing. Everything should now have a blue line through it. Once it's done, you can go over here to what's called the Shape Builder tool. And now if I click on a section, it'll create a new shape from it. If here I need to click and drag. And now I've created all these new shapes. Now with the selection tool, let me deselect this by clicking off of it. I'm going to come in and just select these little parts that I don't need anymore and hit delete. That's what I'm left with. Now, by selecting them, I can get rid of the stroke and choose these colors. I'll choose that color and get rid of the stroke. And this is what I'm left with. At that point, I can come in with an ellipse, create a little eye. Again, using the arrow keys, I can move it around. I can create a little beak by going from here to here. Now I can send it to the back. Let me select it by right-clicking and saying Arrange, Send to Back. That'll put it behind there. Let me just rotate a little. A little less. And then I can make that the same color as this. You see, an easy way to do that is just to use this with it selected. The eyedropper will make it the same color. And then with the legs, I could just create a little rectangle and make it a darker orange, or like, I don't know, a brown or whatever. And then to send it to the back, I could right click and send it to the back, or I could even go to my layers and just drag it down to the bottom. To make a copy of it, I can hold down Alt while I move it. And that's pretty much, I can make these shapes, I'm not going to worry about that. That's pretty much it. So you're going to try